In today's video, we will discuss 10 Stoic quotes on overcoming fear. We will explain what each quote means and how it can help you conquer the fears present in your own life. The 10 quotes are from Stoic philosophers Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. By adopting their Stoic mindset, you can confront fears with a calm and reasoned demeanor, acknowledging that the power to shape your responses resides in your mind. I'm your Stoic guide. Let us begin. Quote 1. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius's quote advises us not to let the future disturb our peace of mind. It reassures us that we will confront the future, if necessary, armed with the same weapons of reason that guide us through present challenges. Essentially, it encourages a steady approach to the unknown, emphasizing the enduring strength of reason in navigating life's uncertainties. In conquering fears, this quote serves as a guiding principle by promoting a mindset anchored in reason and resilience. Instead of succumbing to the anxiety of what the future may hold, it suggests focusing on the present moment and addressing current concerns with a rational perspective. By consistently applying the same tools of reason to both present challenges and future uncertainties, we can build mental fortitude, thereby mitigating the impact of fear. For example, consider someone anxious about an upcoming job interview. Applying Marcus Aurelius's wisdom involves acknowledging the fear, but not letting it disrupt our preparation and mindset. We can analyze the situation objectively, identify potential concerns, and develop reasoned strategies for addressing them. By concentrating on the present task of preparation and relying on the same logical thinking that guides us in daily life, we can face the impending interview with greater confidence and composure. If you are enjoying the video so far, we kindly ask you to please like and subscribe to my channel, so you don't miss any of my other videos on Stoic wisdom. Thank you for your support. Quote 2. Remember, however, before all else, to strip things of all that disturbs and confuses, and to see what each is at bottom. You will then comprehend that they contain nothing fearful except the actual fear. Seneca. Seneca's quote instructs us to prioritize clarity by stripping away elements that disturb and confuse. The emphasis is on understanding the essence of things, encouraging us to discern what lies at their core. By doing so, we come to realize that, fundamentally, there is nothing inherently frightening except the fear itself. In conquering fears, Seneca's guidance becomes a powerful tool. The quote advocates for a process of simplification and deep understanding. When faced with fears, we are prompted to strip away the external complexities, examining the root causes and nature of what unsettles us. By comprehending the essence of our fears, we often discover that they are, at their core, manifestations of our own anxieties rather than inherent threats. For instance, consider the fear of public speaking. Applying Seneca's advice involves peeling away the layers of apprehension and scrutinizing the fear's foundation. Is it the judgment of others, the fear of making a mistake, or the pressure to perform flawlessly? By identifying these underlying elements, we can address them more directly, realizing that the true source of fear is often our own perceptions. This process enables us to confront fears with a clearer understanding and ultimately to diminish their power over us. Quote 3. Everyone hurries his life on and suffers from a yearning for the future and a weariness of the present. But he who bestows all of his time on his own needs, who plans out every day as if it were his last, neither longs for nor fears the morrow. Seneca. Seneca's quote observes the common tendency of individuals to rush through life, yearning for the future while feeling weary of the present. The advice is to redirect our focus, urging us to allocate our time to personal needs and to approach each day with meticulous planning, as if it were our last. By adopting this mindset, one can escape the cycle of longing for the future and dreading the unknown, finding contentment in the present moment. In conquering the restlessness that often accompanies a preoccupation with the future, Seneca's wisdom becomes a practical guide. The quote encourages us to prioritize our immediate needs and goals, fostering a sense of purpose in our daily actions. By planning each day as if it were our last, we shift our perspective from an anxious anticipation of what lies ahead to a more mindful engagement with the present. This mindset allows us to derive fulfillment from the tasks at hand and reduces the perpetual yearning for a future that may never come. For instance, consider someone overwhelmed by career ambitions but constantly anxious about what the future holds. Applying Seneca's advice involves dedicating time to personal well-being, setting realistic daily goals and focusing on the present tasks. By doing so, the individual can break free from the cycle of longing for future success and find satisfaction in the daily progress and achievements, thus alleviating the weariness that stems from a perpetual pursuit of what lies ahead. Quote 4. You act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire. Seneca. Seneca's quote points out a fascinating paradox in human behavior. It suggests that people tend to approach fear with a mortal mindset, allowing it to dominate their thoughts and actions. In contrast, when it comes to desires, people often behave as if they were immortal, pursuing their wants with a sense of boundless urgency and optimism. In conquering the impact of fear, Seneca's insight becomes a valuable reflection on the dichotomy of human reactions. The quote encourages us to reconsider our approach to fear, questioning whether we give it more power and significance than it deserves. By recognizing the mortal mindset that accompanies fear, we can adopt a more measured and rational response, understanding that fear, like everything else, is a transient aspect of our mortal existence. For example, consider the fear of failure. Applying Seneca's advice involves acknowledging the mortality of this fear, recognizing that it is a natural, temporary aspect of life. By approaching fear with a mindset that doesn't exaggerate its significance, individuals can navigate challenges more resiliently, understanding that fear is a passing phase and not an insurmountable obstacle. Quote 5. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius's quote underscores the fundamental concept of Stoicism, emphasizing the power individuals hold over their own minds rather than external events. The wisdom imparts the idea that while we may not control the circumstances around us, we do wield influence over our thoughts and reactions. By recognizing and internalizing this truth, one can discover a wellspring of inner strength. In conquering challenges and adversities, Marcus Aurelius's insight becomes a source of empowerment. The quote prompts us to shift our focus from attempting to control external events, which often lie beyond our influence, to mastering our own mindset. By realizing the autonomy we have over our thoughts, we can find resilience in the face of life's uncertainties and setbacks. For instance, consider a situation where external events, like a sudden job loss, cause distress. Applying Marcus Aurelius's advice involves acknowledging the limited control over such events, but recognizing the substantial influence over one's response. By maintaining a composed and rational mindset, even in challenging circumstances, people can navigate adversity with greater strength and composure. This approach fosters a sense of resilience, allowing them to endure external challenges with a more stable and empowered internal state. Quote 6. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Seneca. Seneca's quote underscores the psychological dimension of fear, suggesting that our apprehensions are frequently products of imagination rather than the tangible impact of reality. It highlights the idea that we tend to suffer more from our own mental projections than from the actual events we fear. In conquering fears, this insight by Seneca serves as a guiding principle, prompting us to recognize the influence of our imagination on our emotional responses. By acknowledging that fear often originates from our thoughts rather than imminent threats, we gain the ability to manage our mental reactions more effectively. Understanding that we are more often frightened than genuinely harmed empowers us to approach fears with a more rational and measured mindset. For instance, consider the fear of rejection in social situations. Applying Seneca's wisdom involves acknowledging that the anticipation of rejection can be more distressing than the potential outcome itself. In this scenario, redirect your focus from the imagined social pitfalls to the present moment. Engage in the conversation with genuine interest, recognizing that the fear of rejection often exaggerates the potential negative consequences. This shift in mindset allows you to approach social interactions with greater confidence and a reduced sense of suffering associated with the fear of rejection. Quote 7. You are scared of dying, and tell me, is the kind of life you lead really any different than being dead? Seneca. Seneca's quote confronts the fear of death, challenging us to evaluate the quality of our lives in comparison to the anxiety surrounding mortality. It prompts reflection on whether the fears and restrictions we impose on ourselves contribute to a life that, in essence, might not be much different from a state of spiritual stagnation or emptiness. In conquering the fear of death, Seneca's insight encourages a re-evaluation of our priorities and perspectives. The quote suggests that a life dominated by the constant dread of mortality might lack the vibrancy and fulfillment we seek. By recognizing the potential similarity between a life overshadowed by fear and a lifeless existence, we can cultivate a mindset that values the present moment and strives for a more meaningful and fulfilling life. For example, consider the fear of taking risks or pursuing personal passions due to the apprehension of failure or judgment. Applying Seneca's wisdom involves contemplating whether the cautious approach, driven by the fear of potential setbacks, aligns with a vibrant and fulfilling life. By acknowledging the potential stagnation caused by excessive fear, we can gradually shift our mindset. This might mean embracing calculated risks, pursuing passions, and appreciating life more fully, thereby reducing the grip of the fear of death on our daily experiences. Quote 8. Ignorance is the cause of fear. Seneca. Seneca's statement succinctly points out that fear often finds its roots in ignorance. The quote implies that a lack of understanding or knowledge about a situation, circumstance, or concept can give rise to unnecessary anxieties and apprehensions. In conquering fear, Seneca's insight becomes a call to address ignorance as a means to dispel unnecessary apprehensions. By seeking knowledge and understanding, we equip ourselves with the tools to navigate uncertainties more confidently. Recognizing that ignorance is a breeding ground for fear empowers us to actively pursue information and insight. For instance, consider the fear of the unknown in a new environment or situation. Applying Seneca's wisdom involves acknowledging that fear might arise from not fully comprehending what lies ahead. In response, actively seek information, familiarize yourself with the context, and engage in learning. By addressing ignorance through knowledge acquisition, you diminish the grip of fear, replacing it with a more informed and composed approach to the unfamiliar. Quote 9. Many are harmed by fear itself, and may have come to their fate by dreading fate. Seneca. Seneca's quote points to the self-inflicted harm caused by fear, suggesting that the anticipation and dread of adverse outcomes can contribute to one's misfortune. It underscores the idea that fear, when left unchecked, can become a catalyst for negative consequences, potentially leading individuals to the very fate they dread. In conquering fear, Seneca's insight serves as a cautionary reminder about the impact of excessive apprehension on our well-being. The quote encourages us to assess whether our fears, when left unaddressed, play a role in shaping our destiny. By recognizing the potential harm caused by fear itself, we gain motivation to confront and manage our fears actively. For example, consider the fear of failure preventing someone from pursuing their goals. Applying Seneca's wisdom involves acknowledging that the fear of failure may inadvertently lead to the very outcome one wishes to avoid, missing out on opportunities and potential success. By confronting and mitigating the fear of failure through proactive measures like setting realistic goals, seeking support, and cultivating resilience, people can avoid self-imposed harm and work towards a more positive fate. Quote 10. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius's quote offers profound insight into the nature of distress, asserting that external events themselves are not the direct cause of pain. Rather, it is our subjective interpretation or assessment of those events that leads to distress. Importantly, he highlights the empowering realization that we possess the ability to alter our perspective at any given moment. In conquering distress, Marcus Aurelius's wisdom becomes a powerful tool for personal agency. The quote prompts us to examine our own interpretations and judgments of external circumstances. By recognizing that our distress is shaped by our perceptions, we gain the capacity to reassess and reframe our outlook. This perspective shift allows us to reclaim control over our emotional responses and mitigate the impact of external events on our well-being. For example, consider a challenging situation at work that causes distress. Applying Marcus Aurelius's advice involves reflecting on your interpretation of the event. Is the distress a result of the situation itself, or is it influenced by your thoughts and expectations? By consciously choosing to reevaluate your estimate of the situation, you can alter your emotional response. This shift empowers you to navigate challenges with a more resilient and composed mindset, illustrating the transformative impact of recognizing and exercising control over your interpretations. The next step in your Stoic journey is learning the Stoic art of staying calm. You can click on the screen right now to watch a video where we explore the Stoic art of staying calm by mastering internal virtues and accepting life's uncertainties. See you at the next video.